Um, Hello everyone. So we are actually going to learn how to do practical one, and inside practical one there is multiple topics, right? One is OSPF, the other one is MD5. There is NTP, authentication, logging message to syslog server, right? So we learn how do you do OSPF and MD5. Okay, so before doing any practical, the uh, main steps that you need to follow is first of all creating this particular diagram that you can see over here. This diagram and chart will be given to you, and what you need to do is basically you need to create this diagram, follow this chart, give IP addresses. Then the next step is going to be OSPF. Okay, so without OSPF you cannot do MD5 or any of the practicals. Okay, so OSPF is extremely important. So what we'll be doing is we'll see how do you do OSPF and all the other practicals. Okay, so yeah, so first we'll make this diagram first very quickly. So in this diagram you have to get all the end devices from this bottom here, bottom left hand side, um, and all you have to do is just get them on top and paste them. Okay, so as you can see I'm taking PCs, servers, right? The router over here is 1941. One thing if it is not mentioned in your diagram which router you're taking, it's much better that you take this 2911 wala router. Okay, but mostly for any practicals it will be mentioned and we are using 1941 only. Okay, then we have to go to switches, and for switches we are using 296024 double T. Okay, so I have taken my switches. Okay, and once you have taken your switches, all you have to do is rename these. Okay, so this is PCA, this is PCB, this is S1, this is going to be R2, this is going to be R1, this is going to be R3. We are going to have this as S3, and this is PCC. Okay, so now as you can see all of them have black wires. So let's just connect the black wires. One more thing, OSPF is done for the practicals that has this lightning wire or red wire. Any practical or diagram that does not have this red color diagram or red color wire, there is no need for you to do OSPF. Okay, so please do keep that in mind. So now we'll make this connection. So you click on PCA after choosing the black color wire from here, and you choose fast Ethernet, and you drag it to S1. Now if you see over here PCA, and in line you can see it is connected to the S1 port of F fast Ethernet 06. Okay, so once you come over here you can see there are 18 ports. All you have to do is choose the relevant port which is given in the diagram. Okay, and again PCB fast Ethernet, and it is mentioned it's in S2 F18. So you choose fast Ethernet 0 and fast Ethernet 18. You'll do the same for PCC as well. PCC is in S3 F18. So in the sense that it's serial port number 3. Here in PCB, you're wondering that it's mentioned over here S2 and there is no S2. But in the diagram, you can see that PCB is connected to S1. So just assume that that is S2, and you can do your connection. Then you're going to connect S1 to R1. So as you can see in R1, S1 is going at fast port zero 05, and it's going from interface 01, gigabit gigabyte 01. So what you do is you click on R1, you go to gigabit ethernet 01, and just drag to S1, and it is on S1 ka fast ethernet 05 wala port. Okay. And you'll do the same over here for R3. R3 is again at gigabit ethernet 01 till S3 F05. Okay, so this is your basic connection. So now for this lightning wire, you can see that there are special serial numbers. So S000 and S001. So for that, what you have to do is you have to click on R1. You go into, you'll zoom in over here. You're going to power it off, and from here you're going to choose HWIC 2T. Okay, and you're just going to drag and drop this to the right hand side. Now remember to place it on the right hand side, not on the left hand side, so that you get these numbers only. You can verify it by putting it in the left hand side. You won't get these numbers S000. If you put it in the left hand side, you're going to get like S010, not 000. So yeah, it's much better that you put it in the right hand side, and you're going to power it on again. You'll do the same for all three routers. You'll power off, drag and drop to the right side, and power it on. Okay, power off, drag drop, and power on. So next, what you're going to do is you can look that the wire is DCE. So if you come and hover over here, you can see there are two wires, DTE and DCE. So always choose the wire that is given in the table. So we've been given DCE, so we'll choose that. And from R1, there is S000, correct? So you're going to click S000, go to R2. Okay, and you're going to choose the same number again, right? So if you have R1 S00 here, you are going to have R2 at S000 only. Then you're going to click on R3, it's going to be S001 to R2 S0001. Okay, so now you can see that there are many red spots over here. So that's because we have not added the IP addresses. So now what we'll do is we'll start adding IP addresses. So you'll click on PCA, go to desktop. You're going to go into IP configuration, and if you look at PCA, the IP address given is 192.168.1.5. Subnet mask autofills, but just make sure it's correct. That's 255.2550, and the default gateway is 192.168.1.1. Okay, that's it. Your IP configuration is set, and you have to do that for each and every device which has an IP address over here. So for PCB it is 192.168.1.6. Subnet mask is the same. Default gateway is going to be 192.168.1.1. You're going to close this, go to PCC desktop, IP config. You're going to write 192.168.3.5. Subnet mask is correct. um, and you're going to add 192.168.3.1. You're done over here. Now the complicated part of adding IP addresses. So if you go to R1, there are two IP addresses is R1. So if you just click on R1, go to config, right, you can see these are the interfaces that are available, and R1 has gigabit ethernet 01. So you're going to click on that thing, make sure the port is always on, right, and you are going to add that IP address of gigabit ethernet 01. So that is 192.168.1.1. Your subnet mask is again correct. After that, if you see, there is another IP address for S000. So in this case it's over here. You're going to make sure your port status is on, and you're going to write 10.1.1.1. And the IP, the subnet mask, as you can see, it's different. So I'm going to add it 255.255 and 252. Okay, so that's R1 done. Now if you click on R2, you go to config. R2, as you can see, S00, the port status is by default is going to be off, so you'll have to put it on. Then you're going to put the IP address as 10.1.1.2, and as you can see, the subnet mask is different again, so you're going to add it again. 255.255.255.252. Okay, as you can see, as you're adding IP addresses, the red dots will disappear one by one. um if you go to R2 again, I missed one. That is, R2 has two interfaces, S000. I added the IP address for that and I missed for 001, so add that. um, 10.2.2.2, and subnet mask is correct. Then you go to R3. R3 also has gigabit Ethernet 01, and its IP address is 192.168.3.1. Uh, and yeah, the subnet mask is correct. Then you're going to have serial 001. Its IP address is 10.2.2.1, and subnet mask is 255.255.252. And as you can see, the lights have become green, and just in case if they have not become green, there is something called as fast forward time. You can always click that button. Now, after this is done, basically you have to ensure that packets are going from PCC to PCA, and as you can see, it is failing. So your practical is not over or nothing has been done yet. So you have to do OSPF in order for packets to go from PCC to PCA, or from that needs to pass through the routers. So in order to do that, you're going to open R1. You're going to go to CLI, okay, and you're going to press enter. As you can see, you're in config if mode, if mode. So if you're in this mode, you're going to exit and go to config mode, and over there you're going to type router OSPF 1. So that will take you to config hyphen router mode, and in this mode you're going to type the command network, and ahead of that you're going to write the IP address. So in R1 you're going to write the IP address of 192.168.1.0. Okay, not 1.1 but 1.0. So any IP address that you'll be typing in the network command, the ending is going to always be 0. Okay, do keep that in mind. And instead of the subnet mask, you're going to type the complement of the subnet mask. Okay, so 255 ka complement is 0, so it's going to be 0.0.0.255, and ahead in front of that you're going to write area 0. So that's your command, and you have to technically do that for all IP addresses in all the routers. So you have done with gigabit Ethernet 01, so you are going to do it for the serial 000 wala interface again. So network 10.1.1.0 and 0.0.0.3. So 255 complement 255 255 का complement is 0, and 252 का complement is 3. Okay, so do keep that in mind. Yeah, so these two commands, and your, what do you call it, router 1 commands have been successfully executed. And if you come over here again, I'm in config if mode. Okay, um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit from here and do router OSPF 1, and router 2 I'm going to do it again. So it's network. The IP addresses are 10.1.1.0, and subnet mask ka complement, which is 0.0.0.3, and I'm going to have area 0 ahead of it. After that, I'm going to have another network command for 10.2.2.0, and that is 0.0.0.3, area 0. Ah, area 0. Okay, yeah, there you go. You're done with router 2 also, and router 3 also. I'm going to do the same thing. Router OSPF 1, Basically, the OSPF commands are written in config hyphen router mode. So it's network, and in R3 you have IP addresses 192.168.3.0, and it's going to be 255.255.2, sorry, complement of subnet mask, which is 0.0.0.255 area 0. You're going to have network 10.2.2.0 and complement of subnet mask, that's 0.0.0.3 area 0. You're going to press enter. One heads up, if majority of the people you are going to be in this mode, that's router hyphen. So if you have pressed enter and you are in this mode, right, and if you need to get to config if mode, config router mode, so you're going to type enable config t and router ospf1. Okay, so in my case I was in config if mode, so I just had to exit from that mode and go into config router mode. But if you are in this mode, then you can do these commands to go to config router mode. Okay, and then you can type network and IP address complement and do those things. So now if I check from pcc to r2, it is successful. From pcc to r1, it is successful. From pcc to a, it's failed. So initially it's going to fail only, and you can see after a failure it's successful. And pc c to c, it's failed again. Just check again, like second time it works majority of the time. And as you can see, it's not working. So pcb के लिए देखना पड़ेगा why it's not working. pcb ip config, uh, why is it not working? Hmm. So it is still failing for PCB. From PCC to PC, it is successful. Okay. Mhm. Uh, Give me just a second, guys. Cisco. Uh, okay, so in this case, it is successful. Mm, PCA to PCB is successful as well. So I actually have got no clue as to why it's not working. But if it's not working, technically there is some mistake that has been made. So PCB fast Ethernet. PCA to PCC is successful. Ouch. हेलो। तो एक्चुअली एरर क्या था कि मैंने आईपी कॉन्फ़िग में यहाँ पे 168 नहीं दिया था। तो जस्ट बाय गिविंग वन मैंने 8, आई हैड मिस्ड द 8 ओवर हियर। तो जिसकी वजह से वो आईपी एड्रेस वाज इनकम्प्लीट। तो नाउ इफ़ यू सी आई कैन जस्ट गो ओवर हियर, इट्स गोना बी सक्सेसफुल, everything is going to be successful. Okay, so now the next set of commands for you know configuring doing md5, you're going to open r1, go into cli. Okay, and from here you're going to enable config t and into the router mode. Okay, and over there you have to enter this command that says area 0 authentication message hyphen digest. Okay, so now if you see below, this same command is there in router 2, router 3. So if you just go over there, go into these modes and just paste and run. Config, so you go into router OSPF1 and paste, and there you go. So if you're done with this, you have to go to R1. From R1 you have to go into this particular interface, that is S00, and to do that you just click over here, then go to CLI, um, and over there you're going to type the command IP OSPF message hyphen digest hyphen key 1 MD5 PA55. Yeah, so I've actually already done it. I actually forgot to record it, so that's why I'm doing it again. So for me the key already exists, but I'll do it in all the modes again, just to show you. um, you go into R3, you go into that mode and paste, and yeah. So now once you're done with all of this, as you can see, the next step is verify the MD5 authentication using show IP OSPF interface. So if you go to any router, you exit and you go into the executable mode. So this is the executable mode, and if you exit once again, you go into this mode. I don't know what this is called, but just by doing en you go into the so-called executive mode. And what you have to do is, in this executable mode, you do show IP OSPF interface, right? My spelling is wrong, so interface, yeah. So if you just keep on pressing enter, yeah, you can see that message digest authentication enabled and youngest key id is 1, which we had kept as 1. So these two lines is what help you identify whether your md5 is correct or not. This is the entire md5 practical, guys, so it's very easy. And yeah, thank you.